Welcome to Valmiki Ramayan in English. Let's meet the creator behind it all, Dr. T.K. Bansal.
What's so amazing is that he's a blind scientist from the University of Oxford.
And he is on a pretty ambitious mission.
Basically, he's presenting this ancient story for a whole new generation.
He's taking the classic Valmiki Ramayan and turning it into modern English videos.
The whole point is just to make this incredible story accessible to literally everyone.
And you know what? This is actually where you can help out.
It's really simple to support the project. Just like the videos, share, and subscribe.
Seriously, every little bit of engagement helps this amazing vision reach more people.
Imagine a villain so fundamentally terrifying that the ocean actually refuses to make waves when he walks by.
Oh, wow.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, kind of combine that mythological image with something very modern, like a brilliantly designed software system or maybe a totally airtight legal contract.
Right, yeah.
The architect builds the ultimate firewall, or the lawyer writes this, invincible indemnity clause. And they just sit back thinking, well, nobody is getting through this.
Yeah, it's that classic illusion of perfect security. You build the walls so incredibly high that you completely forget to look down at the ground.
Exactly. But then inevitably, someone gets in.
Yeah.
And, it is almost never through brute force. They find this tiny overlooked loophole.
A zero-day exploit.
Yes. A zero-day exploit, a blind spot so seemingly pathetic and insignificant that the brilliant architect just, laughed it off. So, welcome to the deep dive.
Glad to be here.
Today, we are looking at what might be the ultimate original zero-day exploit in human storytelling. We're unpacking a stack of translated excerpts from the Kaand of the Valmiki Ramayana.
Specifically, Sargas 15, 16, and 17, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And for those of you listening, whether you've studied this ancient epic for years, or maybe you're hearing about these specific events for the very first time, our mission today is really to look under the hood.
Yeah.
We are exploring this not just as ancient mythology, but as an absolute masterclass in strategic planning, cosmic rules, and really the ultimate celestial conspiracy.
It's wild.
It is. This is the cosmic origin story that basically sets the stage for everything that follows.
So let's jump right into the narrative because it is just incredibly cinematic. Picture this. We have two major events happening at the exact same time, but on two entirely different planes of existence.
Right, the macro and the micro.
Exactly. So down on Earth, we have the human element. King Dashratha of Ayodhya is aging, he's childless, and he is absolutely desperate for an heir to his throne.
Which is a huge political crisis, obviously.
Huge. So he initiates this massive, highly complex ritual called the Putresti Yashna.
Yeah.
This is a fire sacrifice specifically designed to obtain a son.
Yeah.
And to ensure it works, it's being led by a highly revered sage named Rishesringa, who is chanting specific mantras from the Atharva Veda.
Which, by the way, is a very crucial detail to start with.
Oh, really? How so?
Well, if we look at the four Vedas, the Atharva Veda is uniquely focused on the practical, the magical, and the really everyday aspects of life.
Okay.
It contains formulas for healing, for protection, and for fulfilling very specific human desires, like, having a child.
Right.
So Sage Rishesringa isn't just reciting general prayers here. He is deploying highly specialized spiritual technology to basically force a result from the universe.
I love that phrasing, spiritual technology.
Yeah.
It is a totally grounded, intensely focused human endeavor.
Yeah.
So the smoke from that sacrificial fire is rising up into the sky. But while that smoke is rising high above it, completely invisible to the humans down below, an emergency cosmic summit is taking place.
The administrators are freaking out.
Yes, all the gods, the celestial beings, the sages, they have gathered in secret to complain to the creator of the universe, Brahma. And they have a massive existential problem. His name is Ravana.
The Demon King. And, the source material really goes out of its way to emphasize that Ravana isn't just some political nuisance or a military threat.
Oh, not at all.
He is an existential threat to the fundamental physics of the cosmic order.
Right. Think about the sheer atmospheric pressure of Ravana's presence. It's so heavy that the natural world literally freezes in terror.
Yeah.
He's tormenting everyone, sure, but it goes way beyond that. The sun refuses to burn him.
Wow.
The wind doesn't dare blow hard around him. And that usually turbulent ocean we mentioned earlier, it completely stills.
Stops moving.
The rolling waves just flatten out of pure unadulterated fear whenever Ravana is near.
It is such a brilliant way to illustrate power, honestly. It shows that Ravana's dominance is entirely unnatural. The fundamental forces of nature, heat, movement, the tides, they are actively suppressing their own nature because his presence is just so oppressive. He has essentially broken the system.
Okay, let's unpack this, because I have to push back a little here.
Sure.
I'm looking at this celestial summit,
Right.
and the gods are crying to Brahma, the creator, to fix this. But hold on. Didn't Brahma give Ravana this power in the first place?
He did.
So if Brahma is the ultimate admin of this universe, isn't Ravana's reign of terror entirely his fault? Like, why did he grant a demon the power to break the universe?
That is the exact right question to ask. And it brings us to the core mechanics of how this universe operates.
Okay.
Boons, these divine promises, they are essentially unbreakable cosmic contracts. In this system, if you perform enough intense, focused penance, you generate a kind of spiritual currency.
Like farming for gold in a video game.
Exactly. Ravana did the work, he generated the currency. Brahma, as the administrator of cosmic law, was legally obligated to grant him a wish. It wasn't a matter of Brahma liking Ravana, it was simply a matter of upholding the cosmic economy.
Wow. Okay, so Ravana essentially earned an airtight legal contract,
He did.
and he used it to ask for total invincibility. But he had to be specific about who he was invincible against, right?
Exactly. Ravana acted like a lawyer drafting his own indemnity clause.
Right.
He asked to be immune from gods, from demons, and from specialized celestial beings, like the Yakshas, who are these mystical nature spirits that guard the earth's treasures,
Okay.
and the Gandharvas, who are powerful celestial musicians and warriors. He basically listed every single heavyweight in the universe.
He listed all the major threats. But here's a zero-day exploit. Here is the tiny line of code he didn't think was worth his attention.
Yeah.
Brahma tells the gathered, terrified gods that Ravana purposefully excluded humans from his list of immunities.
Yes.
Why? Because he thought humans were a joke. He viewed them as completely weak, fragile, and utterly beneath his notice.
Totally insignificant.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He was so arrogant that the idea of a human posing a threat to him was literally laughable.
What's fascinating here is that this is brilliant psychological storytelling. Ravana's ultimate downfall isn't caused because the gods magically found some bigger weapon or because his magic weakened.
Right.
It is caused entirely by his own hubris. His superiority complex is his only vulnerability.
Wow.
The cosmic law dictates that because of his absolute contempt for humanity, a human is the only thing that can kill him. The threat has to be neutralized by the very thing he despises.
Poetic justice woven right into the contract.
Exactly.
So the gods have their loophole. They know how to beat him, theoretically, but they still have a major practical problem.
Right. They need a human.
They need a human capable of actually doing it. So how do the gods exploit this loophole? Enter Lord Vishnu.
The preserver of the universe, the deity responsible for stepping in whenever the cosmic balance tips too far into chaos.
And his entrance in Sarga 15 is basically a blockbuster movie moment. He arrives riding on Garuda, the giant celestial eagle.
So cinematic.
Yeah, the imagery paints him looking like the blazing sun resting on a cloud. He is wearing brilliant yellow silk. He's holding his iconic divine weapons, the conch, the discus, the mace, and he is sporting these glowing, heated, golden armbands.
It's a massive, overwhelming display of divine authority.
Completely.
Yet the strategy the gods propose requires him to abandon almost all of that. They petition Vishnu to radically scale down his divinity.
Because of the contract.
Exactly. Because of Ravana's ironclad contract, Vishnu cannot just smite him as a god. He has to willingly take on flesh and blood.
Right, so Vishnu agrees to this stunning plan. He decides to divide himself into 4 parts and be born as 4 human sons to King Dashrath's queens.
Yeah.
And by the way, the source material compares these 3 queens to the goddesses Hri, Shri, and Kurdi, embodying modesty, prosperity, and fame.
Nice detail.
Right. So Vishnu makes a binding promise to the gods right then and there. He will wipe out Ravana, his entire army, his family, and then he will rule the earth as a human for 11,000 years.
Let's think about the weight of that for a second. Why 11,000 years?
Good question.
Because fixing a broken universe isn't just about assassinating the bad guy. It is about restoring the natural order, rebuilding the institutions of dharma or cosmic duty, and setting a precedent for generations.
Yeah.
Vishnu is willingly taking on the frailty, the limitations, and the emotional suffering of a human existence just to patch this cosmic bug.
Which brings us right back down to Earth, back to the climax of King Dasharatha's fire ritual.
Right. The smoke.
The smoke is peaking, the chanting is reaching this crazy crescendo, and suddenly we get one of the most bizarre and spectacular scenes I have ever encountered.
I know what you're going to say.
Out of the roaring sacrificial fire emerges this massive mountain-tall being.
This is the Prajapatya Purusha, a direct divine messenger manifesting straight from the creator's realm.
And the sensory details here are just wild. He has dark skin, but he's dressed entirely in red clothes. His face is red. He has a voice that booms like a massive war drum. And he has this glossy, thick hair and beard that is explicitly compared to a lion's mane.
Very intimidating.
Very.
Yeah.
He looks terrifying, but in his hands, he's holding something with incredible care.
A massive bowl.
Made of Jambunata gold, which is described as the highest quality celestial gold, glowing like actual fire, and it's covered with a silver lid.
Yeah.
Inside this bowl is divine kheer, a sweet rice pudding. But what really stopped me in my tracks was how he holds it.
The phrasing is so specific.
The translation notes that this giant, imposing, mountain-sized being is holding this bowl of pudding as tenderly as a romantic lover holding their wife.
That specific simile is vital. Why use such intimate language for a bowl of dessert?
Right. Seems weird.
Because it tells you that what is in the bowl is not just food. It is profoundly precious. It is intimately connected to life, to creation, and to love.
Oh, I see.
That kheer is the physical, consumable manifestation of the divine promise Vishnu just made up in the heavens.
So the fiery being hands the bowl to King Dasharatha and tells him to feed it to his worthy queens to get the sons he so desperately desires.
And he's ecstatic.
Dasharatha is thrilled. But then, well, we get to the actual distribution of the kheer, and I have to admit, I was genuinely confused reading this part.
The math gets weird.
So weird. If you were King Dasharatha trying to divide this glowing divine energy among 3 queens, you'd think you would just split it into 3 equal bowls,
You
right?
could assume basic fractions, yes.
But listen to how the text breaks this down. Dasharatha takes the bowl. He gives exactly half of the kheer to his first queen, Kausalya.
Okay, makes sense.
Right. Then he takes the remaining half, and he gives half of that to his second queen, Sumitra. Still following.
Sure.
But then he takes half of what is left and gives it to Sumitra again.
Yep.
And finally, after pausing to think about it, he takes the final remaining portion and gives it to Sumitra a third time.
It's a lot of Sumitra.
The text explicitly repeats her name in this looping sequence. I mean, what is going on with Dasharatha's math here? Did he just panic and forget how to divide things equally?
It absolutely reads like a confusing word problem at first glance.
Okay.
But we have to step away from looking at this as physical volume.
Okay.
He isn't portioning out calories. Think about how divine essence actually works. It's not like cutting a pie. It's more like lighting candles.
Oh, I like that. Walk me through that.
So if you have one blazing candle and you use it to light 4 other candles, the original flame isn't reduced by 25% each time.
Right. The flame doesn't get smaller.
Exactly. The light replicates itself perfectly into new vessels. The incredibly specific, almost repetitive focus on the division-giving portions is illustrating the complex metaphysical process of a singular, infinite divine soul fracturing itself into 4 distinct human lives.
Okay, that makes so much more sense. It's the mechanism of incarnation, not a recipe.
It-
And the immediate result totally backs that up. As soon as the queens consume the kheer, they don't just get full surdy. They begin physically glowing.
Literally.
They radiate with the light of fire and the sun. They've literally ingested a fraction of supreme divinity. And Dasharatha's joy is so profound that his happiness is compared to the joy of Indra, the king of the gods.
The earthly king and the celestial king are finally in sync.
Because the plan is finally in motion. The human loophole is being weaponized. But if we look at the strategic board, there is an immediate secondary problem.
A huge one, bro.
Because if Vishnu is going to be born as a human, he's going to have human vulnerabilities.
Yeah, he can bleed. He needs to sleep.
Exactly. He cannot just snap his fingers and destroy Ravana's massive, terrifying demon army all by himself.
Yeah.
If you are going to fight an entrenched, system-breaking evil, you need backup.
He needs an army. But here is the catch. That army has to be immune to Ravana's power, but also strong enough to fight on a supernatural level.
And here's where it gets really interesting. Because Brahma, who is orchestrating all of this, orders the gods to engage in what I can only describe as divine genetic engineering.
It really is.
Imagine you are one of these gods, completely powerless against Ravana because of that contract. Now, Brahma gives you a loophole. He mandates the creation of a brand new species of warriors in the form of monkeys and bears, the Vanaras.
And because Ravana's contract only protected him from gods, demons, yakshas, and Gandharvas?
He left off the animals.
Yes. This new army of magically endowed animals falls completely outside his protection. They are a blind spot within a blind spot.
It is the ultimate workaround, so the gods get to work. But how exactly do gods scale down their immense power into animals?
Through divine parentage.
Right, combining their elemental essence with earthly forms. They pair off with nature spirits and apsaras, which are these incredibly beautiful, powerful celestial nymphs, to create this new race.
And the specs on these warriors are crazy.
The requirements are insane. These Vanaras can shapeshift, wield magic, are practically immortal, drink nectar, and master every weapon.
And if we look at the specific roll call of heroes created in Sarga 17, we see exactly how the elemental power of the gods transfers.
Yes, let's go through them. Indra, the king of gods, creates Vali, who is described as mountain-sized.
Right.
The sun god Surya creates Sugriva, giving him the enduring brilliance of the sun. Agni, the god of fire, creates Naila. And of course, fire creates a warrior who is literally radiant and glowing.
And then there is Vayu, the wind god.
Vayu creates Hanuman, and the descriptions go out of their way to hype Hanuman up. His elemental connection to the wind makes him as fast as an eagle, but it also says his body is as hard as a Vajra.
A Vajra being the mythical diamond thunderbolt, right? The hardest and most indestructible weapon in the cosmos.
Exactly. He is the strongest and smartest of them all. But we cannot talk about this army without mentioning the absolute quirkiest detail in the entire reading. The origin of the Bear King, Jambavan.
Oh, this is great.
While all the other gods are consciously pairing off with apsaras to create these warriors, Brahma had already created Jambavan. How? Brahma literally just yawned and Jambavan pops right out of his mouth.
I mean, it adds a touch of almost surreal humor to this grand cosmic design.
Totally.
But analytically, it shows the effortless, overflowing power of the creator. A mere bodily reflex from Brahma is enough to produce an immortal warrior king.
So we have these legendary commanders, but we have to talk about the scale of this Vanara army. We're not talking about a small elite strike force.
No, not at all.
The texts say there are millions, even crores, tens of millions of them being born, and their combat style is just visceral and awe-inspiring. They do not need forged swords or shields.
No, they basically militarize the natural world itself.
They fight by ripping up massive trees and throwing mountains. They use their own nails and teeth as lethal weapons. Picture an army that can physically rip up the earth with their feet.
Unbelievable.
They can shake the ocean. They can literally reach up and grab clouds right out of the sky. They capture wild elephants just for fun. And my absolute favorite detail, they can roar so incredibly loud that flying birds just drop out of the sky from the sheer shockwave.
It's terrifying, but if we connect this to the bigger strategic picture, what Sarga 17 is describing is the ultimate sleeper cell.
Oh, interesting.
The gods essentially seeded the entire earth with this super army. They are living in the forests, on the mountain peaks, in the valleys. They are hiding in plain sight, living as wild creatures, perfectly blending into the natural world.
Just waiting for the human avatar of Vishnu to be born, to grow up, and to finally need them. It is an incredibly patient, multi-generational strategy.
It has to be. You do not undo a cosmic threat overnight. Defeating an entrenched, system-breaking evil requires immense preparation, a deep understanding of the rules, and most importantly, the humility to use tools that the enemy considers beneath them.
So what does this all mean when we step back and look at these three sargas together? The desperate complaint in the heavens, the fiery pudding ritual on earth, and this sprawling divine genetic engineering of millions of magical monkeys. What is the core takeaway for you?
I think the overarching lesson is that this universe is fundamentally orderly. It functions on strict laws. Ravana was a genius in a dark way, right? He gamed the system perfectly.
He really did.
But his fatal flaw wasn't a lack of magic, it was his own ego. His ego left the back door open. And the gods, in all their infinite wisdom, didn't exploit that back door by using overwhelming divine force.
They couldn't.
Right. So they exploited it by scaling down. They embraced human frailty, and they built an alliance with the natural world, the Vanaras. They won by becoming the very things Ravana underestimated.
That is such a powerful insight. And for you listening, why does this ancient, sweeping mythological text matter to your life today?
Yeah, how do we apply this?
Because it is the ultimate, timeless lesson in underestimating your environment. Ravana spent all his energy warding off the celestial heavyweights. He built massive walls against the gods and the demons. But he completely ignored the humans and the monkeys.
He didn't even see them as players on the board.
Exactly. And those overlooked, seemingly weak elements became the exact instruments of his total doom. So it begs the question, in your own life, your career, or your business strategies, what is your human loophole?
Right.
What is the small, seemingly insignificant detail, the quiet variable or the minor threat you're completely ignoring just because it doesn't look like a traditional danger?
And that leads to one final thought to leave you with. We've talked entirely about Ravana's blind spot today, but consider this from a different angle.
Okay, let's think.
If Brahma is the all-knowing creator of the universe, did he know Ravana would leave humans off the list when they made that contract?
Oh, wow.
Right. Did the ultimate architect purposely allow the system to be hacked, knowing exactly how it would force the gods to ally with nature and bring Vishnu to Earth? It makes you wonder if the massive glitches and crises in our own lives are actually the system working exactly as intended.
A cosmic inside job. Was it a bug or was it a feature?
Exactly.
What a brilliant way to look at it. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into the source material. Until next time, keep questioning the rules of the system, and whatever you do, do not ignore the quiet variables in your own code.
Jai Shri Ram.